The psalm is a broad call to worship, combining themes we've seen before: God's greatness, his acts in history, and a contrast between gods and idols. The theme here is the Lord alone is worthy of praise because he's powerful, active, and real. Okay, it starts with the call to the praise. Praise the Lord. Who's called? Servants of the Lord, those in the house of the Lord. For the Lord is good, sing praise to his name. Then the Lord has chosen Jacob, Israel, as his treasured possession. Worship begins with recognizing both God's goodness and his relationship with his people. Then, God's power over creation. I know that the Lord is great. God does whatever pleases him, in heaven, on earth, in seas, in depths. He controls clouds, lightning, rain, and wind. God is not passive, he actively governs creation. Then we move to the part of God's acts in history. The psalm recalls the defeat of Egypt, firstborn struck down, the signs and wonders, the victories over kings, and God gave their land to Israel. God's past actions build confidence in his present power. Then we move to the part God enduring his name. Your name, Lord, endures forever. God will vindicate his people, have compassion on them. God's reputation is tied to his faithfulness, okay? Then idols are made of silver and gold, shaped by human hands. They cannot speak, cannot see, cannot hear. Then those who make them will be like them. Trusting what is lifeless leads to spiritual emptiness. Then the final call to praise. Groups are called again: Israel, the house of Aaron, the house of Levi, all who fear the Lord. Praise the Lord from Zion. Ends with praise the Lord. Worship is the natural response to who God is. What are the key lessons from Psalm 135? The first one is God alone deserves praise. Second lesson, God actively rules over creation. Third lesson, God's past actions build present trust. Fourth lesson, God remains faithful to his people. Fifth lesson, idols are powerless and empty. Final lesson, worship should be communal and ongoing. In summary, Psalm 135 is a call to praise the Lord based on his greatness, power, and faithfulness. It highlights God's control over creation and his historical acts on behalf of his people, particularly in delivering Israel from Egypt and giving them victory over their enemies. In contrast, idols are shown to be lifeless and powerless, unable to act or respond. The psalm concludes by inviting all God's people to worship him, emphasizing that he alone is worthy of praise. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like button and subscribe to the channel, and I see you in the next one.